memory in our moment of silence, so I would like to do that again today. And also in honor of the life of George Dvorak, who is a longtime resident of Indian Head Park, 53-year patent attorney, and he had previously served the village on the Planning and Zoning Commission. So I'd ask that you join me in a moment of silence in their honor and memory. I'd like to mention is I would like to thank the Indian Head Park Women's Club for their recent donation of $100 to be used toward the maintenance and repair of the Heritage Center. And I have sent a thank you letter to the ladies, but I'd like to publicly recognize their donation and thank them for thinking of us through their philanthropy committee. The Cochise Water Main project is nearing completion, and they're at the point where now it's the individual hookups that need to be done.
They're doing individual hookups, and I believe Monday, as we're scheduled, we'll put something out to connect it.
We'll let the residents know before they get their water.
Oh, we can call each one separately for the connection.
Received the other day a letter from the Des Plaines Valley Mosquito Abatement District. Basically report that they had recently found its first positive adult mosquito sample with the presence of West Nile virus in the Hillside, Westchester area. And they say, well, this is not unexpected occurrence at this point in time is earlier than anticipated due to cooler temperatures experienced this spring. The next bulk of this letter is about their efforts in controlling the mosquito population and warning residents to be alert and basically try to avoid getting mosquito bites. But they ask that we inform our residents and suggest that they take certain steps to help eliminate the potential of mosquito breeding sources. And that includes the maintenance of rain gutters and downspouts to prevent water retention in gutters, changing water and earth baths on a weekly basis, maintaining swimming pools, encourage reporting of any unmaintained ponds, swimming pools to the village so that we can alert the district and also take appropriate action. Change water in children's wading pools at least once a week, remove containers, buckets, and anything that will accumulate water from outside, screen rain barrels to prevent the adult mosquitoes from depositing eggs on the water surface, dispose of used tires properly because they tend to collect water, and actually the district will assist people if you have 4 or fewer old tires around your house that you would like to get removed. And also to aerate ornamental ponds and stock them with goldfish and other surface feeding fish that would feed on mosquito larvae. West Nile virus is something that always happens to the other person, but it's a serious thing and it can cause the death. And we'd like to warn our residents and please, just be careful when you're outdoors in the evening. Last item that I have is to, we have it on the website, but property tax appeals for Alliance Township on your assessment. Filing period here at Barbara Wyrick's Township Assessor's Office ends at the end of the day tomorrow, and you can still file downtown by the end of the day on Monday. This is not the triennial reassessment. It's just if you want to appeal what you're being assessed at now for comparables. I learned that a good indicator and helpful input to the assessor's office and reevaluating what your particular assessment might be is recent sales of comparable homes in your neighborhood. And we're looking at the same type of house, whether it's frame or frame and brick, plus or minus 10% on the square footage. So if you have 2,500 square foot house, or let's make it easy for me, 3,000 square foot house, if you're plus or minus 300 square feet of that, and there are recent sales that are lower market value, the contract price, it has to be sold, it has to be a closed deal, than what the assessor has on the website for your market value of your house. That type of information is helpful, and I'm not guaranteeing you get it reduced, but I was told that that's very significant to them for the, looking at the neighborhood. So if you're in that situation, have that kind of perhaps situation, you might want to consider filing an appeal. And like I said, you can do it through Monday, but you have to do it locally here by close of business tomorrow. Okay, moving along, the next item is the consent agenda. There's several appointments, basically, and approval of an ordinance authorizing the sale by public auction of personal property owned by the village, with some cars to the police department, correct?
Yes.
There's the approval of the prevailing wage rate ordinance for Indian Head Park for this year, which is something that we're required to do because public works projects are required by law to be paid at prevailing wages. And what we're doing here is we're adopting the a schedule of what the prevailing wages are for Cook County. The third ordinance on the consent agenda is carryover from last meeting on the planning and zoning issue concerning a side yard variation for property at 11341 Hiawatha Lane. It's also an approval of a resolution to approve the CSPAR budget. A little note on CSPAR. The village joined CSPAR many years ago to provide recreational opportunities for physically disabled individuals. It does cost to belong as a member, and the item shows up on our budget. And the way it works is our member contribution also, by having joined and the people in the village having decided years ago to do this, we also pay property tax to cover the member contribution. If we were not to be a member, of course, none of our residents would then be able to participate in the CSPAR program, but it's a nominal amount. Last year, our contribution was $28,351. What that means in our budget is it's an expense of that, but for the budget, it also means that there's an equivalent taxing amount that we pay on our property tax. So as it affects our budget, it's basically a wash. It comes in that amount and we spend that amount, and the people in our town have the benefit of participating in CSPAR programs. This year, I told that our contribution is actually going down by about $3,500. Our new level is $24,807, and that is due to a drop in the equalized assessed valuation in Indian Head Park. Frank and I were talking about this earlier and trying to relate to the property tax referendums last year, and without pulling the paperwork out, but I think we're talking about in the neighborhood of $10 to $15 per property tax household in Indian Head Park per year for this obligation. You can look at it that if somebody was a shut-in, they could say, why do I pay property taxes to repair streets? I never go out of my house. You may not have any use for CSPAR. It's a wonderful program, provides a lot of opportunities for individuals, and it certainly is a worthwhile cause. So that's on the agenda for today for the consent agenda to approve that. Bottom line is our cost will be $24,807 for next year. So having said that about the various items, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I do have one question regarding the CSPAR. Are we approving the budget, or are we approving our continued obligation to participate in CSPAR?
We're approving the budget that was presented in the material. That's the CSPAR budget for 2013 and 2014.
If at some point we want to revisit that decision as far as an obligation to participate, I'm not saying we should, but if we did, would that be at a different time?
Yeah, that would be a difference.
No. Go ahead.
But if we did, that would be for another year.
Right.
So when would that have to be discussed, or at what point do we have to have that discussion?
I'm not sure what the mechanism is because it's never come up before about withdrawing membership from C-SPAR, so I would have to ask council to perhaps tell us or research how do we disassociate ourselves from that. I don't know if I don't recall what mechanism took place in order for us to become a member, although I know we are. But I don't know if it was something because there's that property tax requirement that goes with this. I don't know how we can tell from that. We have to vote on it or can the board do that?
I've not reviewed the village's, I believe it's a membership agreement with C-SPAR. I'm generally familiar with membership with C-SPAR from other clients that I represent. But I believe there's a membership agreement, and I believe in the membership agreement, there's a section on what to do with the desire to withdraw from C-SPAR. And I just would need to get a copy of the membership agreement to essentially tell you what the requirements are.
So would it be possible to get that information for us so we could review it and then at that particular time period then go and approve the budget for it? No, prior to us approving the budget for this year?
But Mr. Mayor,
Well,
let me just ask one clarification, and maybe I'm wrong, but I believe all we're doing is approving the budget that C-SPAR presents to us.
Right.
This is not saying we are going to continue to be a member or not continue to be a member. Is that correct?
That's correct, and
That
whether we
decision-
approve the budget or not, is we're still gonna, as long as we're a member for this year, we're gonna have to make that payment.
And that decision as to whether or not we're a member, we want to be in the future, would be governed by whatever that ordinance would be that was passed a long time ago and the contractual agreement we have with it, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I just ask one clarification, not to get too far afield? Is it my understanding, based on what you said earlier, that if we chose to not be a part of C-SPAR, we wouldn't have an extra $28,000 to spend for something else? We just wouldn't, is it correct that that
Correct.
could come? Okay.
Correct.
Wouldn't
That-
collect for it.
That's not gonna add to our revenue bottom line. It's just going to, in effect, save $10 to $15 per household per year. And then, of course, the 25 people in our town that take advantage of that program, even whether it's one program or multiple, will not have that opportunity.
Well, I just had one question. Can they take advantage of it at a full rate, or is it can they still sign up and register at the full rate for the programming?
I think that there are some things that residents of non-member entities can participate, but predominantly they cannot.
I had questions about a couple other of the ordinances. I noticed the ordinance for authorizing the sale by public auction, the wording is slightly different from one a year ago. A year ago, we said that we could do this with or without advertising the sale, and this one doesn't mention advertising either with or without at all. I'm wondering why we changed.
We thought we'd clarify where the vehicles go for the auction. And so the ordinance is an ordinance that's used by the West Central Municipal Conference. And on there, they will do the advertisement.
So then do we as a village do any advertisement?
No, the advertising will go through the West Central Municipal Conference. Are you familiar with the West Central Municipal
A little
Conference?
bit, I'm learning.
With all the communities that join it. So they will do it for us. And then we'll go to the auction. And they will advertise it and we will just bring our vehicles there. I believe it's like 20
Where do they advertise the information? Do you know?
You know, I'm not sure. But they do the advertising. So it's just a different clarification. It still authorizes the sale. Only this time we're showing exactly where it's going and how they're going to get, how they're going to be sold.
Have we ever put these ordinances online before we have approved them? You know, this kind of ordinance so the public can see what we're talking about? Have we ever done that, Mr. President?
Not to my, other than the electrical aggregation information, as a routine matter, no, we have not.
Is that something we could consider doing?
Certainly we can consider it. any more questions on the consent
Yeah,
agenda? Trustee Whitmer?
I just was wondering here, on the reappointment of, I see a couple different reappointments to boards and commissions. And I was just, knowing that we have three new trustees that have just joined last month, I was wondering if this is a normal course of a reappointment. These are, important positions for our village. And I know that we have a lot of people in the village now that are interested to get involved. Would we consider, instead of just a straight pass through the appointment, that we would want to open these positions up to be open for other people to potentially put their resumes and their, express interest in these positions, for us to go through a process of picking people? Or is this just is this the situation where we're just reappointing people because they've held the position and they're going to continue to?
Well, it's two parts to it, is the people have served in these capacities and have an interest in continuing on, and I've decided to make the nomination to reappoint them for this time. However, if you'd like to get down the line, make suggestions, I'll be happy to entertain it, but I don't want the positions to the openings to lapse at this point, so I'd like to go forward with these
Well, we
reappointments.
already have.
Well, that's why I want to get this done today. So these are my recommendations, and my nominations to these positions.
And you don't have any interest in reconsidering that, to open it up?
Not for this time, no.
Rich, can you tell me what's the process if somebody's interested to serve on one of these boards or a board in the village?
Send me a letter with the resume.
Do you have a list of other people that, like a wait list, if you will?
I'm not maintaining a wait list at this time.
It's a very short list.
Is this, are these all volunteer positions?
Yes.
So no benefits, nothing along that line?
Benefits serving the community.
And is there a reason why there are different dates for some of
There's
those?
different terms.
That's it for me. I had one other question on the variance. I don't know if we're all done with that or how we operate.
Now would be the appropriate time.
On the variance, I think it's a great idea. I'm for that. Have we ever considered having a separate zoning for the narrow lot so then we could avoid having to go through the planning and zoning for the variation? It seems like we have approved giving up 5 feet on each side for the last 12 years.
As a matter of fact, yes, we have. Goes way back into the early mid-90s. In fact, I was on the Planning and Zoning Commission at that time. And then we had commenced to undertake a rewrite of the 64-1 zoning code. And it started out with just the Planning and Zoning Commission. It expanded to include the village board, and we ended up with 14 people sitting around in a meeting discussing whether the sentence should have a comma or a semicolon or a however, and it just kind of died of its own weight. And the routine was to let the people go forward. Actually, the practice, I shouldn't call it a routine, the practice had become to allow people to apply for the zoning variation. And through experience, the commission had developed kind of a convention that it would apply to granting those variances on Hiawatha. And, there were some tear downs, there was more activity. People still have the right to build within the code and not require a variation. Build on that line.
I've got one last comment. So I am for all these, but I'm not for the reappointments as presented.
Okay. Well, they're together on the consent agenda.
You need a motion to remove the items on the consent agenda. Actually, we need a motion to approve the consent agenda, and then we need a motion.
Have the motion to approve it. What's that?
I will make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay. As presented.
As presented.
We need a second.
We need a second.
Is there a second? Second by Norm. Okay. And then,
Do you want items removed? There would need to be a motion at this time to remove whatever items want to be removed from the consent agenda. They list out those items and move down to the business.
Trustee Hinshaw, then, if you would like to make a motion to remove the reappointment items from the consent agenda, and we'll take that up as an agenda item, that group of appointments, you can make that motion.
Yes, and it's not for the people that are listed. I'm very appreciative of anybody wanting to serve the village, especially in a volunteer basis. But I think the process that we go through is something I'd like to discuss. So I would like to make a motion to remove the reappointments of the 6 people listed. Of counting them right?
I'll second.
That can be a voice vote. Or less than roll call, it could be a roll call, but it's allowable to be a voice vote.
Well, let's do a roll call vote. On the motion, the motion pending before the board is the motion to remove the reappointments of the individuals from the consent agenda to put it on the actual agenda as a discussion item. Trustee Hinshaw made and second by Trustee Whitmer.
Trustee Henshaw.
So yes.
Trustee Wittenberg.
Aye.
Trustee Bailey.
I just want to know if we, I just wanted to ask, are we still going to consider these people if we take this off the agenda, move it down to, or take it off the consent agenda, move it down the agenda item, we will still consider this?
Yes, you can consider each reappointment separately under new business.
That's, yes.
Trustee Schnaufer.
No.
Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, so those 6 nominations for reappointment are moved to the agenda items. And we still have pending before us the remaining consent agenda items, which consists of the ordinances and the resolution regarding the C-SPAR budget. So at this time, the chair would entertain, actually ask all in favor of approving the consent agenda, ordinances, and the resolution. We'll do a roll call vote with that because of the finances that are involved. Trustee Walsh and Trustee Schnaufer.
Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Schnaufer.
Yes.
Trustee Bailey.
Yes.
Trustee Henshaw.
Yes.
Trustee O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Wittenberg.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. The next item is the approval of the financial report for the month ending April 30th, 2013.
Tonight, I have the financial report for the month of April 2013 for the village. The revenues for the month of April were $381,787.72. The expenditures $217,921.91. At the end of April 2013, in all funds, village had $1,358,431.45. I would like to add, Mr. Mayor, that this amount here at the end of April reflects the bulk of the collections of the first installment of the real estate taxes, and also that the finance department has completed the closing of some of the bank accounts and moving everything over to the suburban bank Countryside. So this report will be somewhat condensed in future months after May. It happened this month in June, so beginning in July. And that's my report.
Thank you. questions or comments regarding the report? Hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the financial report for the month ending April 30, 2013, as presented. Moved by trustee Schnall,